I decided about a week or so back that I wanted to really get back into Matilda and Josephine. So I made a decision to do one a week for the rest of the year, which is 49 in total. And so every Sunday at 5 p.m. I'm going to release a video of the process of doing it. So right now I am doing another Valentine's Day painting. So it's another love potion gone wrong. So they were trying to make a love potion for turning a toad into, of course, your handsome prince, but they ended up just turning one toad into multiple toads. But I used to, when I was doing gouache, I used to not actually use pen. I used to just go straight in with the paint, but I like to have an outline so that when I'm going in with the paint, it's a little bit more, what's the word? And as you can see, some of my frogs aren't that good. This is a very, very fine pen. This is the finest pen I've got in this series. But it's looking a little bit jagged. It doesn't matter because, to be honest, I don't actually need, doesn't need to have all the lines done. So I can just go over the lines. So I'm Jane. I'm creator of Matilda and Josephine. Matilda and Josephine are two mischievous, lazy witches that get up to all sorts of kinds of stuff, and I do paintings of them usually in this 3.5 by 2.5 inch paper, because, and I mentioned this in another video, that I started doing it because I wanted to sell pictures online and I didn't want to have the hassle of posting great big paintings. And I looked at I looked at posting with like tubes. I looked at posting with just really big flat envelopes and all the bubble wrap, and of course it can be done and lots of people do it, but the hassle and the fear of things getting damaged and messed around. So I thought, I went on eBay and I found lots of people making these little miniature paintings, and I kind of fell in love with the process. But in this one, I am doing lots and lots of little froggies. I set up my camera differently, and the reason why it's on the other side now is because everything is so close in, because I have to get quite close in. I'll share a photo of the actual setup on my posts later on, because being that, for one, I've got terrible eyesight, but also because this is tiny and I need to see the detail. That's a terrible hand. The thing is with Matilda and Josephine, it doesn't matter. They are, it's not like a masterpiece. It's not an oil painting. My frogs look really sad, but it's all okay. It's all fine. Whoa. So, I want to have some frogs that have warts on them. This frog up here, or toad, is my favourite. I just love his positioning. He's got a bit, I mean, if you actually look carefully, there's a bit missing on that leg, because there should be another bit, but we'll say it's hidden behind him somewhere. So I absolutely love these pens. This one I think has probably been used quite a bit, so the tip's not perfect. It's getting feels a little bit dry as I'm using it, so maybe it's quite scary because everything is touching everything. So that the magnifying glass is touching the camera. Well, this phone stopped filming for a minute there, and I have no idea why, because it was only filming for about 6 minutes. But one of the great things about doing regular videos is that you can kind of change things each time. And I think that's one of the great, I was just going to say that's one of the great things about making videos. That's what I just said. But it's great about just having a go and keep doing it and keep honing your skills, because maybe number 49 will be, I mean, I'm hoping to get a better setup, get back to using a camera. I don't know, it's very difficult. It's a lot easier when I'm doing a bigger painting, because the shadow of the light is just moved. That was a good thing about having a ring light, but the ring light, I needed one that actually sat on the table so I could put the There, I think, oh no, there's a frog there. This frog's got terrible legs. Look at him. You know what? These are toads made by Matilda and Josephine. See, they're kind of comical. Oh, look at that. Also, my hand's going all over the place because I've got it at a funny angle, so you get that kind of shakiness. I think that's done. I think we can put the first wash. Or maybe put these circles in, little circles, bubbles. So first I'm just going to put a little wash on, and it's so funny because I just hit the camera. I am so like tight in at the moment with everything, and I'm trying to look under bits and over bits, and just yeah, it's not the most comfortable setup, but I think it's like I say, it's like doing it every single time. It's a bit of trial and error. So I'm just gonna start with a little bit of a wash on the ground. And I still have not located my hairdryer. I mentioned it in the last one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this bit, because I'm a little bit behind anyway, because we had our tree chopped down this morning. And trying to film while someone's outside with a massive chainsaw is not that easy. I like that colour actually. That is very, very toad-like. So I've decided as well with this video that I think I'm going to probably just film everything and leave everything in. So I don't know how long it's going to be, but it's going to be long. Oh look, I've got the box so close. I can't tell what's actually in frame, but I do like it when you can see the actual paints, because I used to film these with just the painting in the view, and it was fine. You could see the painting, but you couldn't see. I don't think you could see the paint palette or what paints I was using. So it was more of a that's nice rather than oh that's how you do it. That's the colours you're doing it. This paint set that I've got, I bought for £30. I don't know how long ago. It's running low, so I'm gonna have to replace some of the cubes. But it's one of the best sort of artist things I ever bought. I will have a look. It's funny, I've got I shouldn't say I've got a terrible memory. Once upon a time, I don't pay attention to things, so I think, oh, that looks good and I know it's a good trusted name, so I'll get it, as opposed to, right, I'm specifically buying, oh, there's a hair, specifically buying, I've got my pot of water, but it's kind of gets tangled with the arm of the phone holder. So I want to give it a feel of glowing around the middle. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the dark green. It's so funny because I can't see what I'm doing. I keep knocking the phone and knocking other bits. I think, there we go. Just a mixture of green. I always use the edges of this thing. There I go, knocking it again. I could put the water somewhere else. That might help. Yeah, so I want to put a darker green around the edge. And then bring it in so that there's a glow of from the, whatever that thing's called, the cauldron. And also it kind of frames them a little bit more, I think. But again, it's going to take a lot of washes. So, first lesson of the day. It's not really the first lesson of the day. I've already learned many lessons from doing this. I've moved the palette around so it's a bit more visible in the camera, and I've also stuck my water over the other side. The other thing I've done is, before I started this, I had some time because we had some people coming to chop some of our trees down. So there was lots of noise going on, so I couldn't film. And so I thought, I know, I'll be really, really clever and delete a load of stuff off my phone. Problem was, yes, I deleted it off the phone, but I didn't take it out of the recycle bin. So I've been filming and thinking, why does it keep turning off? And then I noticed it said sufficient space, and I thought, oh, that's what it is. I hadn't actually taken stuff out of the recycle bin. But I forgot this little bit here, a little bit between this. But the toads are all going to have that sort of browny green colour, so I think maybe I'll make them orange so that they don't get lost in amongst this colour, but There's another thing. I'm going to keep touching the palette. All these things that I have to take into consideration when filming. Although I do love filming, it's so nice to be able to watch the process back. Oops. Oh my gosh. Especially if it means I can learn something from it. Okay. Yes, I'm going to do a little time lapse, I think, now, just to get through all this, because otherwise it's going to be hours and hours. Okay, so I've done the background, and there is a little bit of a watermark there, but I'm not really bothered about that. And I quite like it. It kind of adds to it, and I've added a bit of reddish brown to the ground. So what I'm going to do now in a little time lapse is I am going to colour in all the other areas in a light wash of all the colours that I want as a kind of backdrop for those. So I did a time lapse of all the different background colours. I put all the basic stuff on. I have started putting some highlights on, and the reason I didn't record that was because I did record it, but I just couldn't get the phone camera to be sharp enough. So I have put it on a different setting, which means it's now closer in, but it looks so much better. So I'm gonna have a go at just doing a few little bits of detail. So just making it look quite frothy. I don't know if I'm going to get it. I think, again, once I put the little white highlights in, I've got a little pink frog in there, a little pink toad. And then we've got these bubbles coming up. So I'm going to paint those a sort of dark emerald green to go. They're going to match the eyes of the frog. The toads, not frogs. These are supposed to be round. But again, the angle that I'm painting in is probably not the best. I'm going to see. I'm going to have to get a photograph of my setup. And if anyone else out there does miniatures and films them, I'd love to know. I'm just putting random dots on. I don't really care where the light's hitting it or doing it properly. I'm just making it look like that. And then I want to have, like, if I put some on here, it will give this a bit more, what is the word? A bit more depth. And then I can put some more darker things on it. And put some different colours in as well, I think. Everything seems to be quite green. And this is supposed to be a love potion, so maybe I need to put a few little bits of red highlights in it where the potion has kind of almost decided to get better. I'm just going to go straight in with the red. Oops. My intention is to talk really slowly for the next 5 minutes. Sometimes I can witter away for hours while I'm painting, and other times I just go really quiet. And that's when I need something to listen to. The music I'm listening to a lot of personal growth stuff. I'm listening to Bob Proctor's Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life, and it's such a good book. But a friend told me, you know, a lot of people would listen to it every single day, and I have found that in listening to it, I'm thinking, wow, I don't remember hearing that, or oh gosh, yeah, I did hear that, and I need to actually implement that. So I just deleted a whole bunch of stuff off my phone because I have this habit of getting things onto my laptop. If it's a video for YouTube, I get it on YouTube, and then I just forget to delete stuff off. I take photographs, I do other videos, and then suddenly I forget that stuff's there, and I just leave it there. And then I'll be filming a video thinking that I've got nothing else to do except focus on the video and the art itself. And then I'll have a look and see that it's insufficient memory. And I'll be, why is that? I've got loads on there. But I've just deleted a whole bunch off. So now it actually doesn't tell me how much film time I've got left, because I've got abundant film time. So what I'm doing is just putting some white on. This is white gouache, which I have tons of. This is a huge, it won't last me forever. I do love the white highlights, but what it will do is it will put like a sort of base on, and then I can go over the top with the color that I want. So this being Josephine, she'll have like darker things on her hair, because it's so much easier, especially with watercolor, because it's so hard to put stuff on there. And I think what I want to do is just kind of put some little details everywhere. And then I still got to get this guy. Oops. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm kind of making it up as I go along. I don't know if I don't think he had I can't remember if he had a smile or not. Whether you're able to see it. I'm going to put that there. As I say, I'm making it up as I go along. Let me just share. And then I'm just going to blend that in. But sometimes just adding random details here, there, and everywhere just makes the painting look good, even if it isn't really a real detail. So I'm going to see if I can just do the hair. Oops. Okay, so just mixing a sort of, I think it's like a sort of mahogany brown, which is more of how her hair looks. She's got a much more darker ginger than Matilda. So Josephine is the dark one, Matilda is the light one. And let me just put this on here. And it takes forever, and I actually remember when I first used this paintbrush. It was quite difficult to use, and I'm finding that now it's not really, it's a really good paintbrush, but I think it's one of those things that needs to be worked in. It's like shoes, you need to wear them for a bit before they get comfortable. There we go. Did the white actually make any difference? Yes, of course it did. But I want to add some brown in. And I love doing like all the little tiny hairs. Putting in as much detail as possible. There is a bird outside the window that is really, really singing away. I'm not sure it's singing, it's just repeating the same notes over and over again. Sounds quite frantic. I want to put a bit of shading underneath the toad. I think I'm going to do it blue. I don't know why. I feel I need to do it blue, and I'm using this paintbrush specially made for acrylic, so it's not perfect. No. There we go. Actually, I quite like that. There we go. I like how you can kind of use watercolor quite thickly. It's not as easy to do that with watercolor. Much easier to do that obviously with gouache. It's not obvious, but you know it is. There. So I want to get a little bit more highlight on him so that it gives it a bit more of a shiny look. But again, the paintbrush is not doing what it should be doing. So I want to get the point of the paintbrush so that you get more of a accurate, there. And at the top there. Yeah, does that make him look shiny? Not really, but it does bring him out a little bit more. It does kind of highlight him a bit more. See, that's something. I'll say that's what I'm going for. There. Right. Oh, there's where my paintbrush is not. It's not behaving. Well, I'm not behaving. Right. There we go. Okay, so I'm still fiddling with the camera angle. And one thing that I've also done is I've got myself some gouache because it is so much easier to apply onto the top of the watercolor than just plain watercolor, because yeah, she says and then remembers, actually it's not. No, it should show up more. There we go. Just getting more of the detail, and it's just because it's just that much, it's a thicker paint. And I still want to use the watercolor for doing like my quick paintings and when I'm coming up with ideas, but I think with these miniatures, the ones that I want to have a lot more detail on, I think the gouache is just so much better. And it just allows for that little bit more detail. I'm still going to have to put some white on. It will help bring it out. But I could spend hours doing their hair. And even this looks a little bit too thick, but it's all good. It's all good. So I have portrait paintings. I think some of them are on YouTube, where yeah, I spent hours just doing the little tiny details of the hair. And much more detailed than this. There's something about the tiny little details that I really, really love. And you can see as well that gouache dries. It dries a bit brighter. Which in some ways is not so good. If you put it on, it looks really, really good. It has this really deep colour and then it just lightens up. But when it's like this, you can see how bright it's becoming when it dries. At least I think you can. There. That just gives her a little bit more detail, and I can get rid of some of the black lines because I think actually I can't get rid of them. I think sometimes they're good, but I think actually in this painting I wish they weren't there now. But it's fine. It's all good. Yeah. I could do with giving her a lot more detail in her hair, but that would be 10 minutes of me just doing one line, another line. Oh, no. I was just thinking, oh yeah, I've just realised my hand's in the camera, but of course my hand's in the camera. I can never tell what I'm filming until it's too late, and then I'm thinking, oh, okay. And I just think the more random little hairs here, there, and everywhere, the better. There. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of brown on the what is this thing called? And I've got the wrong angle. This is going to be tricky again. The angles are hard, so I want to come in from up here. Just put a little bit in. One of the problems I have with my gouache is a lot of them are actually rock hard, and I think if you take it out, you can actually do something about it. I don't know whether you can just mix it with water, or if there's another substance you can mix it with. I'm not sure, but some of them, I took them out of the box and they were rattling, so I'm not holding much hope for those, but you know. But this is where I just put lots of little bits of detail in and start adding random colour. But yeah, I'm feeling that thing where it's like, yeah, I've got to get the gouache. I've got to get back into gouache. It's such a nice feeling when you're using it. I'm going to put some more dark bits in here. So I want to have a bigger contrast between. I'm kind of toying with leaving the cauldron blue. I just feel like I quite like it. I might leave parts of it blue. It also depends on whether I've got a black in my gouache arsenal. I don't know if I have. Oh, I need to give him eyes as well. So I'm going to try with the gouache again, and I've got this lovely brilliant green. I think I use brilliant red, and it's nice when it comes out like that. It's like, yes, it still feels soft. Can you describe paint as being soft? Probably yes. I just want to see how it looks as well. Is it going to look better than the other? I don't know. Because I could even put, so that's quite a nice bright green. Here we go. I might put some green blobs on this guy's back. Maybe like a pattern rather than the sort of boils or whatever you call them on the other one. They're not boils. What are they called? Your blobs. I don't know. Yeah, he's got like a nice greenish pattern, and then I can put some different things on it. I'm going to put some white. I'm going to put the whites of their eyes on. I need to put a lot more water in there, because when I don't put enough water on the white, it doesn't come off the paintbrush, and it's really frustrating. Okay. Oh, it comes off too much now. That's not too bad. No, that definitely doesn't work. That's a little bit too much, but here we go. Give this guy a bit of a sort of weird. Why am I making him red? I don't know. Oh, we'll see how it dries. Maybe I'll just mix in some green. Bit weird. I just need to give him a bit more definition, because he's sitting on the floor, disappearing in the background. Not that that's a bad thing, to be fair. I mean, if you can still see it, it's quite good to have it disappearing in the background, I think. And then I want to give her a bit more detail in her dress. I kind of want to give it a bit of a starry feel. That's the trouble when you try to do a dot and it ends up as a splodge. It doesn't work. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Big splodge. But I don't know why I want to do this. I'm not sure I actually like it, but I think sometimes I just feel like I need more detail. I know what I'm going to do with this now is I'm just going to blend it in and not have it look like deliberate little dots because I just don't like it. But maybe it just gives the dress a bit more texture. That's going to look weird, but in fact, from where I'm standing or sitting, it kind of looks like it's got like a, something over the top of it, so that kind of works for me. It works for me. It's good. What works for me is good. And then you've got, yeah, that works. That is fine. Maybe put like a little, I'll put something here. Like I just want to have like a belt buckle. They don't normally have a belt buckle on their hats, but because there's a dark bit there, I just thought, yeah, I'm going to put a belt buckle in there. It doesn't look like one. I don't care. Okay, and then do a few little highlights. It's the highlights that always do it. Oopsie. There we go. Yeah, making it look a bit, it's not like shiny highlights, but just giving it a bit more of a texture. And I'm going to use that dark brown. I really like this colour. I can't remember what it was. Yep, let me see if I can find it. Oh yeah, it was burnt umber. Burnt umber. That's what I pushed. So because her hat's quite dark, I can put some in there. But it's almost giving it a bit of a leathery feel to it. I like that. There. Oops, I need to kind of smush it in. Smash it in. There we go. And then it's got like a bend to it, a hook in it. Right, okay. And then what else am I going to do? Sometimes when I look at it and I think, oh, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do next? So I think every single time I do these, I'm going to get more and more detail just because it's kind of, it is what I used to do. And when I've looked back at some of my old Matilda and Josephine's, and some of them, there is so much detail in them. It's actually it's a bit crazy. But it is what I love doing. And I love adding more and more, but I kind of like, I want to make my videos so that I'm actually recording it in real time. I'm not trying to fit in a specific time. So I think that's been one of my problems in the past. It's like I don't want to be restrained by what somebody else says. Your video has to be 12 minutes long or whatever it is. No, your video has to be whatever I want it to be. And then I'll get it wrong, but I don't care. I'd rather get it wrong on my own terms than have someone else tell me what to do and then it doesn't work. Right. A bit on there, a bit on there. I'm going to give you some as well. Yeah, it's very flat. There. Now just randomly, ooh, that was quite a big splodge. But it's going to stay. No, it's not. There. I want to give his toes a greenish tint. I don't really want to highlight the toes because they're not very good. Maybe just do that. There we go. I love how toads and frogs, I'm assuming they have the same feet, like have that padded bit at the end. I don't know how many toes they actually have. Okay, so I made those ones look nice, the ones at the top there. I think I need to give the ones at the bottom a little bit of a better, so they've got a nice little rounded little pad thing. I don't think it's going to make any difference. There we go. Yeah. It's so weird because I look at it and I think, okay, I kind of think it's finished. I know the hands aren't necessarily the best. Maybe if I put a little bit of, highlights on them, that might help a little bit. And also, the highlight on that, highlight there. There's Tay's a little bit of highlights. This is like the thing for me. It's like I will look at a painting and think, okay, I'm not feeling it. It's not quite finished. And then I just get out the white paint and all of a sudden it's like, okay, yeah. Putting a few bits here and there. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I've still got to work on this thing. I don't even know what it is. I know it's a toad. But it's not really, it's not really feeling it. It reminds me of, I don't know whether it's a gecko or something, the ones that that walk really funny. They all walk funny, but there we go. Lots of little whites, and then put whites on these so they do look like they're slightly raised or shiny, I don't know. Like multiple eyes. That's disturbing. And that Tade, I think that Tade at the bottom probably needs something else. A little bit of brown. It looks a bit too red. I don't know why I put red on it. It's like, that's quite bizarre. And there's a big droplet of water on my paintbrush that is threatening. And that is something I often end up having issues with. Yeah, so he's just sitting there, minding his own business, doing a bit of meditation, so he's fine. Okay. So I think what I need to do as well is for that one on her arm is probably just give it a bit of another leg. And yeah, I don't know. Can we call it a frog, a toad, some kind of otherworldly thing? Give it a bit of a. Oh, looks like he's got a moustache now. It looks weird, but I'm happy to have it on my picture. That's what I'm going to say. He's got a place. There we go. No. I'm just looking at it and now, is it finished? Maybe I should need to do, do you know what I need to do? Do you know? Do you? Is put a little bit more colour in the actual broomstick. Because I ignored that. And that is, again, it's a little bit like the hair. It's like I just want to have bits coming out of it and make it have a little bit more detail. There we go. And then I need to use a bit of watercolour because I can't be bothered to find the right colour in my gouache and just go over some of these like that. There. I think that works. And then I think with her hat, I just need a little bit of, maybe a bit of orange in here. Whoops. No, I just put orange everywhere. Make sure everything stops shaking. And then a few highlights on the hat as well. Oh my gosh. Get the highlights on, and then I am thinking if I can find a black, I'm going to do the black on There, look at that. That makes so much difference. And her hair isn't as detailed as Matilda's, but I just think it makes so much difference. There we go. So I thought I would have a go at just mixing the brown into the cauldron and just putting bits in. And I've noticed when I've seen cauldrons on fires, there's no reflection, so that black completely absorbs any light from the fire. Oops. Because I always think, oh yeah, I've got to do lots of shiny bits on the cauldron, but it doesn't actually need to be done. What I've done is I've got this paintbrush, which I mentioned before is for acrylic. So I think the difference is that it just doesn't suck up the water. I've looked at them and seen how it reacts when you put it in the paint. And the watercolour, it does seem to soak up the water, whereas these don't. So I'm assuming that's what it is. But I'm just using it to spread the paint around and kind of hopefully mix it with the paint underneath. So, oh yeah, I like that. I think that looks much better. I feel like if I put a few bits of more dark, I'm liking that brown. I'm loving this colour. So I'm thinking of maybe just like putting it, and it's come out completely different. Obviously I have white on the paintbrush or somewhere. Okay, so there we go. Up there. I don't want to put it anywhere where I'm going to mess anything up. Kind of there. Okay. Okay. I like how their dresses have blended into the ground. They're part of the ground. There. One of the things I do love as well about when I do painting is being able to take paint off and it gives you that lovely glow underneath. Like that. So that's what I'm going to do. I have a few areas where I'm just going to lift up that paint. I think what I'm going to do, and this is something that I do when I get either to the end of the painting or close, is I do sign it. So I'm going to move that up a little bit. Do I want to sign it on the bottom or do I want to sign it on the side? Sometimes I sign it on the side. I think I'm going to do it on the side. So I'm going to move that around. And I always do it. I used to do it different colours actually, but now I do it white. See that? I've got a little droplet of water. Oh, where am I? Droplet of water on there. Dangerous water. Okay. I don't know why I'm doing this now because the water is still wet. I could do it up here, couldn't I? Just because I'm being impatient. That is not a good start. It's too much water on my paintbrush. What I'm going to do is do it here. That is perfect. Look at that. Like so. Yep, there we are. So here it is, Matilda and Josephine, another love potion gone wrong. So thank you so much for watching and see you again next Sunday for another edition of Matilda and Josephine.